What is going on, everybody on the internet? This is Deshaun Johnson for my website, DeshaunJohnson.com. And in today's video, I'm actually just doing I guess you could say, an awareness video to highlight an article that I actually wrote on my blog called 5 Reasons Why Web Designers and Developers Will Never Go Out of Business. Okay. Um, Now, me being a web designer and developer myself, there are the past, I don't know, let me see, how many years have I actually been doing web design and development? So I want to actually say since 2011. Actually, just started out just learning the ropes of it, graphic design. I actually went to school at DeVry, got my a 2-year degree for web graphic design, and I do not regret it. I know there's a lot of people on the internet that will vouch for, like, you do not have to go to college and waste your money to, get a degree in web design development, which I guess I could agree to that as well. But I don't really regret going to DeVry. There's a lot of resources that I got from going to school. There's actually a lot of relationships that I built with, some fellow students, and I just met some really awesome teachers. So DeVry provided a really good landscape for me to learn the ropes, get my feet wet in web design and development. Now, money wise, yeah, it costs, and gotta take out a student loan to go there, but I don't regret it at all. But anyway, that's besides the point. Let's jump right inside of this. 5 reasons why web designers and developers will never go out of business. Okay, so here I created an infographic to kind of highlight just some key points. Number one, sites will always need management and maintenance. If you're a web designer and developer and you're doing sites for clients, they're going to constantly need somebody to monitor and fix their sites when it goes down. I mean, we're talking about technology. It's not foolproof. So unless they actually want to learn the ropes themselves, which a lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, I really doubt that, they're going to always need the web developer to still get involved and help them. I still get phone calls from some of the people I partnered with to help build their sites, whether it's from directly from scratch through pure HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, or I'm actually using WordPress, which is one of my favorite platforms. And speaking of WordPress, if you're into WordPress or you're having a hard time, you want to really get into web design, I would actually recommend picking up Digging Into WordPress by Chris Corrier and Jeff Starr. That's probably a little bit small for you to see, but they have an awesome book. I actually have an ebook for it, which is why I'm just pretty much advertising it on my site right now. So it's something that I actually picked up, and it's helped me out a lot to understand WordPress even more. So when you get a chance, go ahead and check that out as well. Number two, the technology always changes. So in the midst of, you know, with web design, I mean, the technology is always going to, build on top of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you know those basics, you're in good shape. But because the actual trends, because there's a lot of trending stuff that goes on. I know a few years ago it was responsive design, which is very much kind of cemented as a necessity now. It's not just a novelty, but it's pretty much a requirement when you're designing websites. The parallax scrolling type sites. There's always something new going on in web design and development. So you're always going to be in need, and you need to keep up, study what those trends are, what's popular right now, and how you actually need to adapt in order to make your web, your clients up to date, current, and they're not going out of style. Number three, content managers and what you see is what you get, which is basically, I guess you could say, call it WYSIWYG. That's how I heard other people say it. Those types of editors will always need manual coding and design. WordPress has a big, learning curve. Like, it took me a while. It almost took me like several months to really know how to actually use WordPress. And this is a person coming from the school of just directly, how should I say, coding from scratch. Like, I spread it, the coding from scratch gospel. And that's pretty much what I still enjoy doing, but I realize that doing that is a bit slow. But I take that expertise and those skills from coding from scratch, and it helps a lot to actually learn a lot of content managers. So even if you don't know any coding, you can probably jump right in and start using WordPress, but it is a big learning curve. And if you are a web design developer, it's a platform that's going to actually help you, to serve your clients a lot easier and be able to teach them WordPress or whatever, content management such as Joomla or whatnot. But I recommend WordPress that you decide to use. But yeah, you're always there. Even those platforms, they still need coding. Number four, people do not have time to manage their own sites. Now, I have clients that recommend like, oh, I just want to manage my site on my own. But let's be honest, if your client is somebody that's trying to run a business, really, are they going to have time to pop up their computer and just, really manage their site like, 24/7, 365? Maybe for simple, I just want to add a photo to my homepage, or how do I change this part of the text to say this, or how do I change the price on my restaurant site? Little simple fixes like that. You can teach people how to do that on their own, but when you're talking about major management, I mean, no, that's actually another business on its own. You do the site for your clients, your partners, but then, there's another income aspect to that, because if you charge them monthly for certain upkeep, certain advice, things that's taking time away from you to focus on other clients, that's a whole nother income opportunity. So you have the first aspect of actually building, designing, and creating the site, but then you have also these other aspects to where you have to make sure that your client may actually want to like use you to make sure that the site is staying, up to date and that sort of thing. So, and let's go ahead and go down to number 5. Web designers and developers are needed to solve problems. So everything I actually just explained in the previous 4 points, those are some of the interesting problems when you're doing web design and development. But other than that, there's always going to be some coding concern that's going to come up. The site's going to go down. You're going to have clients, partners that's going to just, pull their hair out like, I don't know what's going on. How do I do this? What's going on? And I don't know what to do. And it sometimes can become a mess. So if you have systems in place, you have some structure set up, you want to get things positioned to where you make it easier to solve those problems for your clients, like hosting issues, FTP problems, anything that if you put them on a content management, you have to make sure that they can actually solve those little problems on their own. But so most of the time they really can't, and they don't have the know-how, the technical know-how, and that's where your job comes in at. So all these are just potential income opportunities. Anytime there's like all these problems, that's still just constantly giving you those income opportunities and things that you can either, charge later to your client, or you could just decide to just help them out and find some other way to get, compensated for all the, work that you're doing in solving these problems. Just some other highlights. The article goes more in depth on these certain things, on each point. I made an infographic just so I can actually like talk about and highlight those things from the get-go. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So check out the article, the show notes. The link will be in the show notes to the article, so you can just click down there and just check it out, support it, like it, share it. It's a really good article. So thank you for watching. Deshaun Johnson, DeshaunJohnson.com. Spread the word. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.